as you do, but it's still really cracking, and you get the idea what's going on. And that's a great joke, since they've got eggs on the table. Cracking, eh? Hey, hey. So, Micro Machines on the Megadrive. I obviously had this back in the day, and it was a cracking game to play 2-player with your mates, couch co-op. We'll see what it's like 1-player now as we get going, and hopefully it's just as good, but let's find out. So you can pick a 1-player challenge or 2-player head-to-head. We're obviously going with 1-player because it's just me, really no mates. But you could do a head-to-head challenge, which is essentially like the 2-player one, which I'll describe a bit after, but we're going to do the challenge. You've got several characters you can pick from here. It sort of says across the top how good they are. You've not got no bar, sort of say how good hangmen are, but they can smooth, fair, able, rash, poor, dire. But we're going to go with Ace, because he's probably the easy one. Spider. We'll have him. And he's cool, isn't he, with shades? I mean, he's got to be good. Right, now we need to pick our characters who we're going to go against. So, the thing is, you can pick the easy ones to start with, which I'll probably do for this video. But then, obviously, once you've beaten them, you obviously have to take on the harder one. So, shall we have, he's a bit rash. And then, shall we have a girl? We'll have Fair, Annie. Or Anne, if I can read. Because she's quite fair, apparently. So that's alright, isn't it? Lovely. And obviously, like the little Micro Machines cars that you got and everything, all different ones. So different levels have different cars to drive, which is quite cool and exciting as you go through it. So, race 1, the Breakfast Bends. Oh, but before we get into it and get too excited about it, let's find out what the scores on the doors were back in the day. So, back in January 1993, Mean Machine Sega gave it 93%, saying a cracking game, but one which single players might not appreciate. And that's a pretty fair assessment, because although it's aged really well and everyone says it's now a sort of classic game, it was better for like 2-player all the way around. Ooh, and the 1-player bit might not have been as enjoyable. So I'm showing you the worst part, as you do, but it's still really cracking, and you get the idea what's going on. And that's a great joke, since they've got eggs on the table. Cracking, eh? Hey, hey. Planned it. You wouldn't have thought about it. Anyway, so as you can see, you had little tracks, because obviously Micro Machines are like the little car toys that you used to get and tread on and hurt your feet nowadays, and probably curse all your children for if you have it at the moment, as our parents probably cursed us when you left them lying around. But on this case, you could do different scenarios. So obviously I'm on the breakfast table, this one, and your baked beans can get in the way, and so forth. And I just aced that because obviously I picked the simpler ones to do. The Breakfast Bends. Oh, Dwayne. Wasn't good. Obviously, the tracks get harder as you go along. Got more challenges and more turns. So let's see how we get on with this one. Desktop Drop-Off. Oh, yeah. Give me this one. Some of them are sort of iconic now. Or were at the time, because people just thought, oh god, and the car's really quick. And you really had to learn sort of a track, or you'd go flying off. Or you'd hit things like that. Oh god. Oh, and obviously because you could go most bits over the table or fall off them because you can't drive. You could take little shortcuts if you knew where you were going. There's a turn up here, isn't there? Oh, and he knocked me off. And that's why it's cool with your friends as well, because you could all just bash into each other and knock you off. But instead of doing split screen, haha, knock that car off. It did the premise that if you went off a screen, the first one to get knocked off screen wins. So you'd be driving along like me in this blue car, and if like that blue car there went ahead of me, I'd be knocked out. And that's what sort of head-to-head's like. And the reason they did that is originally it was a NES game, which was then popular and got ported to all the other systems. And woo, here we go. Watch where I'm driving. And why everyone thinks the Megadrive version is probably the best out of all the ports is because it was so faithful to the NES version, but they obviously polished it a bit more for the Megadrive, and it's a bit quicker and it's just a bit better, whereas some of the other ports were a bit rubbish and naff. But even at the time it got 93%, and like I say, everyone's like, oh, it's rubbish, a 1-player game. Looking back on it now, everybody says it's one of those classic games. as I fall off a table because I'm talking. That's in the sort of top 100 games, definitely, if not top 10. It's really high up usually because it is a classic game to go back to, a little racer. Oh, Dwayne again. Oh, he hasn't been knocked off yet, but we'll see in a minute. Here we go. Let's see what this track is. OILCAN Alley. So this one's in a shed, on a workbench, I guess. Okay. Oh, God. This is where I think I'd start losing lives because I've got to remember where the track is. Oh, my goodness. Oh, through the oil, round here. Through some glue. And it's just, every vehicle has different handling, so as you can see, it's sometimes a bit harder, especially if you're going really quick, to steer them. And then when you get later tracks, that just turns and turns, and then little obstacles like that, little gaps, becomes quite difficult, and you bash into everything, so you can't usually go miles ahead. But yeah, it's great. I really did enjoy this when it first came out. And yeah, you definitely get upset with all your friends playing it on the couch co-op, because especially with it going off a screen, you just, oh, I'm going to fall the screen, but hopefully they'd hit into something and die, so you had to get quite good at it or you'd constantly be losing. So it's one of them games, if you went round your mate's house and didn't have it like I did at the start, they'd obviously be good at it because they knew most of the tracks or where to go. So they'd just annihilate you, and it wasn't a very fun experience then, but once you got it yourself and learnt it, then yeah, you could whoop them at it as well. Whoop them at it. Right, now I think, because poor Dwayne, we've got him 3 times, he's lost his 3 lives, because you'll get 3 lives. So he's out. Bye, Dwayne. And now you have to pick one of the other characters to take his place. So the trick is, I guess, you pick the harder ones near the start on the easier levels. Should we have a crazy? Cherry! She's crazy. We'll have her. And see where we go, because we're getting harder now. Right, let's try this one. Oh, it's a beach one, isn't it? Sand straights, turbo wheels. I don't think I'm good at this one. Let's have a look now. I think this one's got loads of turns. Yep, but I don't know where they're coming. Ooh. I've got a vague idea because, you know, I have actually had a little practice. Oh, but I hit stones. I suppose it's learning where you can cut the track and go off it. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Without falling in water or hitting something along the way, because there's some shortcuts. But yeah, it's remembering where they are, aren't they? Get out the way. I'm driving. Oh, God. I say driving. Where's this turn? Oh, God. Here in it. And there's a turn here, up here, round here. Oh, what's this? Ooh, round there. Hey, there we go. We got there this time. We're in the lead, so as long as we don't hit anything and crash really badly, which is likely to happen, we're a shoo-in. Is it after these stones? Yeah. So you've got to figure out where the landmarks are to turn. Oh, God, nearly. Round here. Oh, too soon. Oh, cut the corner there, didn't we? Oh, that was pretty class. I think that was a fairly decent run and a pretty good place to probably end the video on. Hooray, who lost this time? Mike. Oh, now Dwayne's gone. It's all falling on Mike. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Let us know down in the comments what you thought about it. Did you have micro machines? Was it good? Did you find it frustrating and all that jazz? But make sure don't give the video a thumbs up. Hit subscribe if you haven't. Tell all your friends. Come and watch the channel if you enjoy it. And all the usual jazz and everything. But until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.